Hello everyone, welcome to FedScoop TV. I'm your host, Greg Otto. You're watching our Digital Transformation Hero series, and I'm talking with Frontis Wiggins, the CIO of the State Department. Frontis, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Greg.
So I wanted to get your perspective on federal IT managers recognizing that digital transformation depends in part on modernizing legacy IT systems. Can you point to an example inside your agency where concrete progress has been made on modernizing systems?
Absolutely. So one of the big projects we have right now is the Enterprise Converged Platform. In the past, we used to have separate servers that were shipped out for Exchange and for Windows, and they lived in multiple racks. And we've gone to a virtualized environment where now we're shipping out either single rack or a half rack to our posts overseas to create a converged platform both for the classified and the unclassified environment. We're already about 30% through that process. We envision that it's going to take the rest of fiscal year 18 to get that all done, but modernizing that infrastructure that we have out at those posts has been hugely helpful. We've also created modular data centers and created converged data centers on the East and West Coast. And the modular data centers are a way for us to leverage the existing buildings that we own, but instead of the high cost of having to have the computer systems inside those buildings, we've moved them into almost a trailer environment where you can concentrate your cooling, your power, and then use the expensive real estate to house people. So we've already put online the first modular data center. We've got two more that have been put in the ground. We expect to have them online this coming fiscal year.
Great, great. So when it comes to things like cloud, containerization, agile development, how does that help you envision what's possible over the next 18 months?
Yeah, it's a great question because I give you examples of infrastructure that we own, and that has a huge price tag for me. The idea of moving to the cloud is that it can be a platform and a commodity IT that I move out to somebody else's environment. I don't have to pay the operations maintenance on. I don't have to worry about the protection of that data. I do, but I'm not responsible for it wholly. It's a shared risk with me and that cloud provider. And actually, when you think about scalability and agility and flexibility, those cloud service providers, whether it's an Amazon or it's a Google or it's a Microsoft, are much more able to pivot quickly and provide and expand and contract the services. And so we're going to this hybrid environment where we'll have some on-prem stuff and a lot of off-prem stuff. And it's really going to depend on the flavor of the data, right? You've got unclassified data, you've got sensitive but unclassified data includes PII, you've got classified data. Those can live in different environments depending on your appetite for risk. And that's the other thing that we're doing. We're taking the NIST risk framework and filtering our approach to putting new systems out there and modernization, innovation, and putting it through that and saying, okay, what's our appetite for risk? If it's low, then we're going to keep that on-prem. If we have a high appetite for the risk related to the data that we're talking about, we can move that off-prem and put it into a cloud environment. And it just gives us so much more flexibility and also cost savings as well, because a lot of this is being driven by dollars. It's much more expensive for me to build an on-prem data center than it is to just have commodity IT that I basically lease from a provider.
So digital transformation, it's not just a technology thing. There's a workforce component to this as well. What needs to happen to ensure that agencies have the right skills and talent in order to keep modernization efforts moving?
It's a fantastic question because I say this often, and I keep saying it, hopefully it's true, that IT is just a tool, right? And if you don't know how to use the tool, now granted it's a very expensive and powerful tool, but if you don't know how to use the tool properly, you might as well not have it. So the idea is to bring in both the IT folks who have the right type of skills, but also the customer base to have the right type of skills to leverage these changes. And from the IT perspective in particular, if we no longer are server huggers and manhandling those servers and doing the work on them for the software, we have to become business consultants, and we have to be business solutions providers from an IT perspective. You have to be willing to go out and meet with your customers, get their requirements from them, and we're creating a customer requirements office, specifically to do that at the Department of State. And that's a huge change in culture. And so we've been driving this through. I've had 6 town halls to try and get our workforce prepared for this, both civil service and foreign service, and also our locally engaged staff overseas, so that they understand that their jobs aren't going away, but the jobs are going to change. I'll say this frankly because I'm one of them. A lot of folks who come to IT originally are a little bit of introverts. Like to do the zeros and ones, it's all black and white. it's that messy dealing with the customer that makes people uncomfortable, and so we have to prepare ourselves for that. So we're doing this through our Foreign Service Institute. We're also doing this through different hiring mechanisms we're looking at. We're going out in different environments than we traditionally would, through social media to attract people. And we've also created the first of a kind of Foreign Affairs IT Fellows, the FATE, as we like to call it, where we're leveraging college juniors and seniors. They're going to do a 5-year fellowship with us, and then they're going to get a chance to join the Foreign Service. And they're a different demographic, obviously.
Okay.
They're digital natives, and it's a small grassroots level, but it's change starts that way. And then from the customer perspective, we also have to help people understand that they got to change their inherent business processes. So there's an education portion of that. There's a whole change management aspect and a communications piece of that, because even if we give them the IT tools, if they don't change inherent business processes behind them, you're paving the cow path.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Finally, what are you doing to prepare for the onslaught of data? I mean, there's going to be a continuing surge in data, so I imagine that you probably want to get a data analytics tools or a suite of tools in the hands of your people in order to make good decisions.
Absolutely. So we're actually running data visualization and data imaging classes right now, both for our IT folks and for our customers. And it's also, as I alluded to earlier, it's the mass of data we're bringing in and capturing. We don't have the horsepower to process it all. So that ties in with that whole idea of moving to the cloud. A provider has that horsepower. They have the servers they can put up against it, and frankly, at a fraction of the cost that we would. So having the platforms available, then have the training for the people, and having demand for that kind of service is what's driving us towards that change. And I heard it many times from our folks in the field. I've got all this data, I need a way to look at it that is meaningful, and so they can present it and we can make significant change. And so we're doing that through training, through communication strategy, but also in leveraging the technologies to make those powerful tools available.
Great. Frontis, appreciate your insight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Greg.
For all of our Digital Transformation Hero series, check out fedscoop.com. I'm Greg Otto. Thanks for watching.